we'll have everybody in here. Let's make sure that we get accounted for. So I see them popping up here on the thing, and we've got four of the outlets connected. Twitch may be giving us a little bit of a problem right now. Twitch hasn't connected yet, but um, it'll get on there. Not worried about it. We're here though, man. So there we is. We got them all connected. Bucks Life in the building. We started a little bit late on the stream. I had to take care of some stuff, and therefore me taking care of some stuff meant we couldn't get started on time. So I had to reset all the events so the video feeds can pop up when I do go live. So figured out that trick. Uh, Everybody that is tuning in, appreciate y'all as always every week. Um, Tuning into the show, just talking a little bit of NBA, and also going to the series so far in the second round, and we'll talk a little bit of football. Well, a lot of football later. We'll also get into some NHL because, as you know, Lightning are hanging on a dear life right now in the playoffs. And we'll talk a little bit of baseball. Didn't get a chance to watch the game last night, but I can talk about the situation that the Rays were in going to Anaheim. And I think this might be the first game they've played against Joe Madden. Maybe not. I think Joe Madden was in Anaheim last season, if I'm not mistaken. If not, then you guys can correct me in the chat. Feel free to correct me in the chat. I don't have a problem with anybody, correcting me in the chat. Um, but they were no hit last night. So Rays got no hit, folks, and um, it didn't look good. From what I heard, every year, no matter what type of team the Rays have on the field, we always seem to get we always seem to put ourselves in a position where we get no hit or we get very close to being no hit. Either way, the system that you know we have in place where we got guys in and out of the lineup on a very very consistent basis, and the roster turnover and how they like to go about business as a organization. And you know as a Rays fan, we can all sit here and we can complain about what they do organizationally and how they go about business, but the one thing that we cannot complain about is they do seem to win. If you go back, I guarantee you, because I've done this. I haven't done it in the last 5 years or so, but I have went and looked at the Rays overall record since 2008, and I want to say when I did it, I think it was 2019 or maybe 2020, where the Rays, record wise, they're one of the top teams in the league from a record standpoint. Um, they're one of the top teams from a record standpoint, and they are at the top of the league always. So we can complain about how they do business, and yeah, we hate the fact that we can't really get a grasp of who's on the roster, and we can't get a grasp of what is going on in free agency. We can't party like that. At least not now. I mean, maybe that changes if they ever seem to get a new stadium, which right now, I think is our best chance for the Rays to get a new stadium because Major League Baseball has seemed to shut down any possibility of them playing in Montreal, which I knew from the very jump that it was gonna happen, and uh, I knew it was gonna happen. A lot of people was nervous, and I talked to a lot of people that was like, I don't know, man. I think we're gonna be in trouble, and uh, well, I don't know if we're gonna be able to keep them. And I'm like, you know, at at the end of the day, you got one of the biggest markets, you know, in the country. I think last time I checked, they were about the seventh largest. I know they were in the top 10 largest market. And when they look at market, um, they're looking at the overall area. When they look at market, it's overall area, not just where you play at, but it's a radius that they look at. So the name on the jersey is Tampa Bay. So the Tampa Bay area for us is about 7 counties, I think. No, Manatee. Uh, I don't know what county Bradenton it is. So just say Bradenton, Sarasota, um, Riverview, which is Hillsborough, Pasco, Pinellas, and I want to say so about 4 counties. But those 4 counties are huge. You're talking about 100 miles. You know, I'm gonna say fifth. No, because I ride my bike and I can go 50 miles just in the county. So yeah, I'm gonna say about 75, 50 to 75 mile, radius, which is deemed the Tampa Bay area. So that's a huge market. Um, and on top of that, we got a lot of traction. Obviously, tourism, a lot of people moving to this area. Areas of in this area just booming like crazy. So this is a for Major League Baseball when it comes to television, this is a huge market. So I necessarily wasn't too concerned because I figured it was a pipe dream type of idea anyway that Stu had of playing in two cities. Um, as much as Stu wanted it, I didn't feel like the owners were going to buy into it because if the Rays can pull off something like that, let's just say hypothetically that the owners in Major League Baseball went on record and said, you know what, we're gonna let you do this two-city deal. And Montreal was in on it. And it actually was gonna happen, and it did. The Rays not even one of the more popular teams, in the area. I mean, in Major League Baseball. So imagine allowing the Rays to do it, and then you got a team like the Cubs or the Yankees, Red Sox that can pull off something like this. Now you got a real problem. Not a problem, for the owners, but a major problem for the fans because those teams draw dramatically, and they not only draw at home, but in certain areas that they travel on the road, they also draw fans. Being here in Tampa Bay, um, I can tell you right now that the Yankees, Red Sox, when they come to town, maybe the Toronto Blue Jays, um, St. Louis Cardinals. I'm just looking at baseball aspect. Chicago Cubs. Um, let's see, a team that is not. I'm trying to think. Red Sox, Yankees, obviously. Cubs. Um, I know I'm missing some teams, but the popular teams when they travel here, teams go and they buy up, they buy them up, and stadium is sold out. Uh, that's something that those teams can benefit from if they were in the two city type of situation. Now they're no longer in that. Um, and I don't know. I don't think baseball. I never thought the owners would you know cower to the idea. And I always told people it was a pipe dream that he had in his mind. It was never going to happen. I just didn't think it was going to happen. So they tried the whole deal with Ebor. Not sure maybe they can revisit that down the line somewhere. Not sure, but they can go to some other sites now. I think because of what happened with that whole situation and Major League Baseball pretty much shooting it down. Um, Personally, I don't think you know. I don't think that being in one location is any longer a mandatory or deal breaker. I think that by Major League Baseball saying, "Hey, we're not going to approve of this," and you're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. We're not approving the move. We're not approving the two cities situation. Now the ownership or Stu Sternberg, because I believe it was mainly his idea, not really the organization. He's the owner, but whatever the owners say do, you do, right. I mean that's just the way it is. But I think that mm, at the end of the day, um, that kind of put a damper on him wanting to be in Tampa opposed to, hey, we're gonna just go wherever we can get the best deal. And I think going to Ybor, I live here, and a lot of people that do live here, they'll tell you, Ybor City is beautiful at night, but Ybor City ain't that big, and just like people complain about going into Ybor City uh yeah, doing rush hour traffic. People complain about the same thing coming out of St. Pete to a Rays game. I don't know which one is worse. I think if I was in Tampa, I wouldn't mind coming through Tampa and going to Pinellas at that time of the day. And because I've been there, I've been through both. I've went to Amalie Arena at that time. Obviously football games are normally on Sundays, but if you got a Thursday night game or a Monday night game and you trying to get to Raymond James Stadium, which is not as deep into Tampa as Amalie or Ybor, which is further. I mean, they're in the same area, but um the amount of traffic around that, the log jam of traffic, bumper to bumper, and all of that you have to get through to get into Ybor. And I know with any stadium project, they're gonna do road renovation and restore some roads and give them more access and open them up so they can handle more traffic. But at the same time, um, bruh, they've been working on the highways over in Tampa for 15 years, and it's not helping. So me personally, uh I think a lot of people would be would I mean, and people can say, well, there's only X amount going over to the Trop anyway. So losing them won't matter to the amount of fans that you'll gain moving over there, which you know what? There might be a good argument to that. Um, you're gonna gain some, you're gonna lose some, but only if you live here you understand the mentality of this area. You know, you could be in the sports media, and you could be some journalists that live in New York or Boston, and you're making comment about the stadium location, and you don't really understand the area. You've never been here. You don't understand it. So they're just saying, you know, if they move there, then everything will be all good. Well, I'm telling you, they can move there, and for the first season, they might have really good numbers for the first season. Maybe even the second season, uh, they may have really good numbers, but eventually, it's just gonna roll right back to what it normally is. And if they start losing, you can hang it up. You can hang it up. Um, we love our football. We love our football, but when I was a season ticket holder during those Raheem Morris years, Greg Schiano years, even I love Lovie Smith. I was a season ticket holder during those years. And we supposed to be a football town. We supposed to be a football town. And we were sitting in more than half empty stadiums for the majority part of that run. I had season tickets for like I want to say six seasons, and the majority part of that run, you know, we were sitting in empty stadiums. We were sitting in empty stadiums, man, and we supposed to be a football town. Not only we supposed to be a football town, I mean the Bucks been around for 40 years now. Supposed to be, you know, tradition, football tradition. Well, sitting in Raymond James Stadium on a 1 o'clock game against, I want to say, let's say Detroit Lions, and then and you looking around and there's about, let's see, normally the stadium sold out, I would say 62 to 65,000, and then uh 40% capacity. I'm gonna go on the record and say 40% capacity. 40% capacity, you're talking 3,500. I mean, not 3,500, 35 to 40,000, right? That was most of the seating sitting in Raymond James Stadium doing my run when I was a season ticket holder. And I gave up my season tickets 2 years before Brady came to town. And the only games I was sold out was when we played the Pittsburgh Steelers, uh, Philadelphia Eagles, Green Bay Packers, um, who else? Um, Packers, Steelers. No, not the Bengals. Not the Bengals. Yeah, Cowboys. Yep, Cowboys. Thank you. That's my wife in the background. Cowboys, Giants, Redskins, Buffalo Bills, um, ev- everybody from everywhere else. Just put it that way. If you weren't, if you weren't the Lions or the Arizona Cardinals, I'm gonna say Chargers, uh, 49ers. They brought a crowd. Yeah, Patriots. Well, we I don't think we played the Patriots a whole lot when we had season tickets, but You know those teams were sold out. Now, not only that they sold out, but now you have the Bucks fans, right? That you've been sitting next to for 2, 3, 4, 5 years when these teams come to town. And next thing you know, you look up, they got their little season ticket lanyard over their neck, and they got the opposing team uniform on. You look around the stadium, you see the opposing team colors. I can remember the Eagles and the Packers. Those are the two games that threw me for a loop. The Eagles and the Packers, because those games, I'm not even joking. I felt like I was sitting in a visitor stadium. And I've never been to Philly, but I've my section was full of green uniforms when we played the Eagles. Full of Eagles. I'm talking just in my section alone, it was more than 50-50. It was probably like 60-40. When the Eagles scored, this game here was the first game. It was the coming out party of Nick Foles. It was his coming out party that this game that I'm explaining to you guys right now. It was so many Eagles fans at this game, and I know I done kind of went off the baseball talk, but I'm just trying to go into detail of why I don't think that it'll matter if wherever the stadium is at, just because of the mentality of the town. But I'm gonna go back into my Eagles story. So Nick Foles was the starting quarterback. I think Michael Vick was on that team. He got hurt, and was it Vick? It might have been. Andy Reid was still the coach there, so it could have been Michael Vick who was the starter. Nick Foles he went down that game. Nick Foles come in, threw for like 400 yards, and the Eagles beat us. It was crazy. It was so many Eagles fans at this game. There was so many Eagles fans at this game, and we're gonna. Uh-oh. And there was so many. I didn't even realize this thing was still playing, man. There were so many Eagles fans at this game. Every time the Eagles scored, um, we it felt like I was in Philadelphia. They was doing the Eagles chant. We had Bucks fans that was trying to do the Buccaneer, chant where they was, it's Tampa on one side, Bay on the other. We was getting drowned out by the Eagles fans doing Eagles chant, EA, that thing. And I'm sitting up here and I'm looking around and I'm like, man, this is bull crap. That's all I was thinking. Man, this is some bull crap. What is going on? What is really going on here? That's all I kept saying. What is going on? Every time the Eagles scored, it was like whatever the name of the Lincoln Financial, it was like we were sitting in the third level of Lincoln Financial. And then the Packers, it was even worse. It was even worse. I was excited to go to that game. Never seen, Aaron Rodgers play in person. Aaron Rodgers is one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch play in the league. So I was excited to go to that game. I already knew it was gonna be crazy because I know how Packers fans travel. They've always traveled that way, even when the Bucks were in their heydays under Tony Dungy with that defense, and we was, making our runs. Same thing. It still didn't matter. So, yeah, dun, that little dun, 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 go Pack, go, yep, all day long, and we got blown out that game. We did get blown out that game, and It really didn't matter. It was crazy, man. So this town, whether people like to admit it or not, and I'm a realist on this show. We got Rat Pack Sports Show NBA insider Nicholas Lane on the line, getting ready to talk some NBA. But I'm a realist on this show, and I'm a be real with y'all and just say we got a fair weather town. Hockey. I remember them years under Oren Coolest and the Keystone Cops, that little whole thing they had going on over there with the Lightning for those years where they pretty much sabotaged our team and traded away all our good players and wanted to be cheap and everything. They wanted to be Hugh Culverhouse-esque. I remember them years, man. I remember them years. And those years, the Emily, well, at the time it was the Ice Palace. They wasn't selling out there. We weren't. We started losing. Stadiums empty, and that's just the way it is. And that's why I give so much props to cities like Chicago, um, uh, Cleveland. You know, Cleveland, Cleveland, they just got good, like really good. They just got really good in the last couple seasons. Where they legitimately, you look at that team and they got a shot. They just got that good. But when they came back, when the NFL gave them a team back all the way up till that point, dude, the Browns sucked. The Browns sucked. And they were sold out every home game. Every single home game, the Browns are sold out. And my man, he is right. There's a lot to do here. You're right. It is. It is a lot to do here. So once you start losing, you just find something else to do. But what my argument is about all the people that's saying, "Oh, if you win, we'll show up." Yeah, for a little bit, for a little bit, and then it don't matter at that point. You win too much, uh, it, you know, they'll show up, and then it only take you to lose about for 1 year, then they disappear. And the only time we sell out is when for hockey, Maple Leafs, Penguins, all basically any team from Canada, Blackhawks. I remember in the what you call it, the 1 year in the playoffs when we played the Blackhawks in the finals, and you look down on the lower bowl. This is where I was like, you know what? I don't mind sitting in the stadium with the opposing team fans. That make for a good night, especially when you're winning. You harass each other back and forth, all in the spirit of fun, and you wave at them, bye bye, go home. You lost, you lost. I'm cool with that. But you're in the Stanley Cup Finals, and the whole sports world is watching year one that game. You're the only game in town. You're in the finals, and you look down, and you're on live national TV, and you see so much. You see so much red on the lower bowl. It's like, where are all these people getting these tickets from? So season ticket holders go on this. See, I had season tickets, and I had people that was asking me to sell my tickets, and when certain teams come to town, I pay for your ticket. I'll do this, I'll do that. And I was like, nah, I ain't giving away my ticket to nobody on the opposing team. I don't care how much money you pay me. No, I'd rather go to the game. That's the type of fan I was. But you got a lot of people in this town, man. Either they flip, like I said, either they flip and start, cheering for the opposing team because, that's their childhood team or whatever, or they will sell their tickets to the enemy. So, yeah, as a season ticket holder, you can't sit down there and 90% of those seats because they already bought, and so people are selling their tickets. People are selling their tickets. So, um, we'll go more into that later. We got my man Nicholas Lane on the line, so we got to talk a little bit of NBA. He's coming in early because he might be hitting some ground balls here in a little bit. So he's coming in early to talk about the second round of the playoffs and some other news around the league and the NBA. So we're gonna bring him in now. Rat Pack Sports Show, NBA insider, Nicholas Lane, aka Nicky Buckets. That's for left field correspondent. What's going on, man? Oh, can he hear me? You there, Nicholas? Let me I can hear him. Maybe he can't hear me. Let me check something here. His Skype might be acting up again. Skype might be acting up again. Let's see. Um Everything looks good, but let me check it just to make sure. What? Okay, don't need.
I'm here.
Oh, there he is. There he is. All right. So I'm just making sure I'm good. All right. So we got him here on the line, man. Right Past Sports Show, NBA insider, Nicholas Lane. What's going on, brother?
Hey, good evening. It is so great to be back. I was talking to you guys last when in Vegas, and a lot has happened. It is we're getting close to seeing how the second round of the playoffs are going to happen. Unfortunately, I think one out of the half of them are pretty much decided. With Phoenix going up 3-1 and Golden State up 3-1 to close it out tonight. But those Eastern Conference ones, they're close. They're Heat are up 3-2, and I know tonight, obviously, the Bucks and Celtics are playing too.
Yeah, what do you think about, let's get to the series that we're currently watching right now, and that is the Bucks and Celtics. Tied at 2, and been exciting series. I kind of like the brand of basketball that I'm watching here. It's not really what we're normally used to seeing with today's rules, but it's competitive. They're kind of letting them play a little bit. And the two teams seem to be evenly matched up. What's your thoughts on this series, man?
Well, Milwaukee, it's a little surprising because I thought Milwaukee had a disadvantage, obviously without no Chris Middleton, but the depth with Milwaukee is really helping them. Brook Lopez has had some really good games in the series. They have been they've been doing pretty well inside the paint, where obviously Boston is hitting a lot more threes. So in a sense, as you're right, they're pretty evenly matched. Tatum, obviously when the Celtics lose, he has bad shooting nights. When the Celtics win, him and Jaylen Brown, they're cooking. They're doing really well. So I feel like we haven't seen a game to where both sides, their strengths are happening at the same time in order us to get a really good game. And I know game 3 was really close in Milwaukee because that last tip-in that Horford didn't get off before the buzzer sounded for Milwaukee to win game 3. I know that determined that game, but when it comes to this series and how close it is, we haven't seen a game to where Milwaukee is dominating the paint and the Celtics are dominating the 3. for it to happen. I still think Milwaukee barely has the advantage in the series. They have the best player in the series. They have the best defender in the series. But even though Marcus Smart was Defensive Player of the Year, I feel that Drew Holiday, when it comes to the playoffs, is a better defender and at a much more, important position where Drew Holiday plays. So I still think Milwaukee should barely get past the series, even though the Celtics are red hot. I said that, in Vegas as well. But, man, it's really close. It's really close.
Yeah, and what I like is, again, they're letting them play a little bit, so the game is a little bit more physical. I don't mind physical basketball. I think these are grown men that a lot bigger than a lot of us, and I don't mind a little bit of physical play here and there. So
in physical play is the advantage to Milwaukee.
Yes, you're right. And hey, the way that we look at basketball, right? I mean, I do, is it's about exploiting the matchups. So Milwaukee being the more physical team, and they're letting them play a little bit, advantage Milwaukee. The only thing is, I don't think Milwaukee is doing enough to exploit those advantages when it comes down to it. They're not attacking outside
I
of
think you're right
Giannis.
about that.
Yeah,
Outside of Giannis,
they're not attacking the paint. You got Brooks Lopez, and this is where we look at the game, and we've made an argument about these bigs that want to step out and they want to be guards, and then they forget that they're bigs, and you can play with your back to the basket. As much as people say that's old school basketball and whatnot, I just call it basketball. Play, taking advantage of the advantages. So Brooks Lopez is hanging out at the 3-point line, and I get it. You want to spread it out for the Giannis and stuff like that. But whenever Giannis, they got two people on Giannis, you don't think to just, hey, let me get down here, get low, get position, and try to take advantage of my matchup. And Boston is down one of their bigs who got hurt earlier. So, and again, today you see Boston, they're beating Milwaukee because Milwaukee is trying to play this wide open style of basketball, and Boston can play that wide open style of basketball better than they can. They can't match up with what Boston is doing offensively. And then when they get on the defensive end, I mean, when Milwaukee gets on the offensive end, they're playing right into Boston hands. So as a coach, Bullets, however you say his name, the coach from Milwaukee,
Budenholzer.
There you go, Budenholzer. He is being out coached right now by a younger coach who's in his first year coaching, and you're a championship coach. You cannot let that happen. You can't let that happen, man.
Milwaukee is pretty strange. They've been this all season. Their starting lineup is so half court offense heavy, and their bench are just a bunch of 3-point jackers that they're like the complete opposite. Guys like Grayson Allen and Connaughton, George Hill's out there. I mean, these guys are not half court offense dudes. They are shot chuckers from their spot.
Yeah.
And I think that's really strange when it comes to how Milwaukee, Brook Lopez only takes advantage of it inside only when they double Giannis. Otherwise, Brook Lopez is outside too much. Now, Lopez doesn't have a lot of athleticism. He's not fast, so he's not going to take a dude. He's not a Jokic. He's not going to take a dude up and dribble, do some spin moves, and get a layup, and obviously in the end one. But Lopez will do it slowly. And when Milwaukee has won games in this series, Brook Lopez has had really good games, honestly. So they need to fire up the three from the bench players, and then just tell Giannis to put Robert Williams and Daniel Tice in foul trouble and make Horford guard them all game. Like Tatum can't guard him, Jaylen Brown can't guard him, Marcus Smart, can try, but at the end of the day, just tell them to get Robert Williams out of the game in foul trouble, get Daniel Tice out of the game in foul trouble, and just let it be Horford, and that's it, and play, just try your luck that way. Obviously Horford had a terrific game the last game in the series. He dominated in game 4, but at the end of the day, I mean, if I were Budenholzer, that's what I would do. Try to get their starting bigs in foul trouble and make Horford be their big.
Yeah, and I got a comment here from one of the listeners. He says, don't get me wrong, he wants the Celtics to lose, but he think the workload for Giannis is too much without Middleton being in the lineup.
Well, he's right. It puts him at a pretty big disadvantage the whole time that Middleton's been out, because Middleton's such a good scorer, obviously the mid-range and three, that he's just a guy that obviously when he gets hot, you have to pay attention to him. Then you don't double team Giannis, and then all of a sudden you pass the ball on the double team and Giannis is wide open and nobody can deal with that. So that's where you don't really rely on Drew Holiday in that sense, because Holiday is like a 16, 5, and 8 assists with 3 steals and really pesters the other point guard or the shooting guard. That's what Holiday does. Maybe 20-point game here and there, but not consistently.
Yeah.
Where Middleton is that 20-point scorer. That's what he does. And when you take that away, you got to rely more on Brook Lopez. You have to rely more on, Pat Connaughton and Grayson Allen. And that's where I feel like Milwaukee has always had a disadvantage in this series, where Giannis has to do too much in order for them to advance. I think Giannis is the best player in the NBA right now. He might not have been the MVP because that's obviously Jokic, and we could go into that later.
Yeah.
But it definitely puts the Bucks at a disadvantage. And yeah, Budenholzer's a better coach than Ime Udoka, but at the end of the day, right now, yeah, you're right. Udoka is coaching better than him, and it's showing. So I mean, Milwaukee they got to really tough it out and hope that Middleton can be back for the Eastern Conference Finals against, we think, the Heat. So they're going to really need him, because if they don't have him and the Bucks advance, then I think they're not going to get out versus the Heat, because that Heat defense is just as good as Boston, and they have better personnel to execute that, or just as good of personnel.
Yeah.
So I think if Middleton can come back for that Eastern Conference Finals, obviously if the Bucks advance, then the Bucks have a chance to get back into the finals. But it'll be really hard. I think it'd be very tough.
Yeah, I think so too, man. And you talk about the Heat, and one person for the Heat, we Jimmy Butler is Jimmy Butler. He's ready to play basketball at the moment's notice, and that guy's gonna give you everything that he has. He's gonna play hurt. He's gonna play, through injuries. And every team he's been on, he's been, kind of like the heart and soul of that team. Whether it was Chicago, whether it was, Minnesota, now Miami, that guy is all about business when he's on the court. He's all about business. And the way he's been playing the last 3 games, it's probably the best basketball offensively we've seen from Jimmy Butler in his whole career.
Probably since the bubble.
Yeah. I mean, he did have a good bubble. The Heat was in the finals in the bubble, and Jimmy Butler was a big big reason for that. So yeah, I would agree with you there. Since the bubble, yeah.
So the other series, obviously, we'll touch on it pretty fast because I don't think Philly has much of a chance left. But the Heat are up 3-2 in that series, and for now, it seems like the Heat will take care of business. I think Harden has had one good game in the series, and Embiid is playing about as best as he can do under his circumstances. I don't think Philly will blow anything up. Daryl Morey is, I believe, he is as stubborn as it can get when it comes to James Harden. I think he's going to give him an extension that I don't think James Harden should get anymore. That could be pretty killer to a team going forward, but it seems like Morey will probably do it, is what it looks like. But the Heat, I think they're moving on. Their depth is too good. Adebayo's had a great series. Obviously, pointing out Jimmy Butler. And I'll say it, we're putting them on notice, and we said it 2 weeks ago. Potential Anthony Bennett All-Star Duncan Robinson has played maybe 2 minutes in the series. It's coming, boys. Next year.
Hey, he's working on it. He's working on that inaugural nomination for him. But and Duncan Robinson, for what it's worth, the guy wasn't really good basketball. I mean, he had some good moments with Miami, but I just think they've become so deep. Obviously, with the pickup of Lowry and some other guys, it kind of pushed them back on the bench a little bit, which is understandable.
Well,
I mean, that team is deep.
It seems to me Max Strus is taking a lot of his minutes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Gabe Vincent's playing terrific ball for that team when Lowry hasn't been able to play. Gabe Vincent's really stepped it up. And it's really shrunk the ability for Duncan Robinson to be out on the floor as, let's call it the way it is. He's a specialist. And that's what he is.
Yeah. Great.
And so
what's the other kid? The other young kid that he comes off the bench for Miami.
Tyler Hero.
Man, listen. I don't know how much longer Miami is going to be able to hold on to him because that dude can flat out play some basketball. He can get any shot he wants. It doesn't matter. You can be a great defender. He's just going to get off his shot. He's an excellent shooter. He can attack the basket with the best of them. He's just been really, really good as a six man. I know they tried him in the starting lineup. His production kind of fell off a little bit, but as a six man, this dude comes off the bench and he will get you 15 like it ain't nothing. And it's hard to match up with that. When you go to your bench and you can actually improve as a team scoring, that's not easy to do.
Look at it this way. So Utah, as we all know on the show, is going to get blown up. Yeah. It's a known fact. We knew if they lost that Dallas series, that team's going to get blown up. So look at Utah compared to Miami. You have Jimmy Butler as the do-everything scorer. Everything relies on him. Utah has Donovan Mitchell. You have Bam Adebayo, a top defensive player of the year candidate, a pretty dominant center. Utah has Rudy Gobert. But the thing that is the culture, obviously, for defense for the Heat compared to the Jazz is much different. I think both coaches are actually really good, so I wouldn't say there's much difference there. But when it comes to Tyler Hero compared to Jordan Clarkson, it is miles upon miles difference in the talent level that both of those bench scorers provide you. I feel Tyler Hero's younger, fine, but Jordan Clarkson plays slower. He's not as athletic, where Tyler Hero runs around everywhere, gets his shot off, takes deep threes with a lot of confidence, where I think Jordan Clarkson has to be more in rhythm. He takes the shots off the dribble. He takes more mid-rangers, where I feel like Tyler Hero really takes control of the second unit, where I don't think Jordan Clarkson does it as much. And I feel like that's such a big difference if you're trying to maintain a lead or you're trying to maintain being close in a playoff game, where I don't think Jordan Clarkson really does that for you as much, compared to obviously a Tyler Hero can get hot, I think, a lot easier than a Jordan Clarkson does. And I feel like there's some similarities between those two teams, but even smaller nuances like that can make a huge difference.
Yeah, and we're in about 3.5 minutes left in the quarter, and Boston has now they were down, they were up 2, they just hit a shot, so they're up 103-99. Milwaukee is making a serious push. Holiday is starting to knock down a few shots, and Giannis, you listen. Shaq, there was some comments. I was watching the TNT, post game show, and somebody made a comment that Shaq couldn't play in today's basketball because it's too wide open, too physical. The game is too wide open. Obviously. Shaq said, a young me at the size that I were, people forget. They remember Shaq in his Laker days. They don't remember the Orlando Magic Shaquille O'Neal that was outrunning guards down the court. But Shaq pretty much said, hey, if I was playing today, I would be Giannis. Who's gonna stop me? And I was like, he makes a good point. Shaq, see the thing about these NBA players, professional athletes, is when they're on the court, they're playing the role, they're playing the position. But these dudes can play. Shaq could handle the ball. What's the center? He plays with the Clippers. No, is he with the Clippers? Yeah, I think he's with the Clippers. He's got the dreads, the dreadlocks. I can't remember his name now, man. He plays. He was on the Clippers. I know. I don't know if he's still on there, but let me get this man's name, because I it's gonna drive me crazy if I don't get his name. So let me find his name. But the point that I'm making is, back in the days, these guys played a role, and they had a position. Back then it was point, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, and that's how they played basketball. That's not saying that these guys couldn't step away from the basket and do something different, or they didn't have the talent, or they didn't have the skill because you didn't see it. They didn't have to play that way because they weren't asked to play that way. But these guys are professional athletes. So let me get this guy name, because I know he's on Harrell.
Montrezl Harrell.
Yes,
he's on Washington.
Okay, Montrezl Harrell. He was on the Clippers though a few last season, right? Or 2 seasons ago.
He was on the Lakers last season.
Okay, but you know what I'm talking about. Harrell. Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah, he made his name with the Clippers. Yeah.
Okay, so this dude here, this video was circulating on social media. That's how I saw it. I just ran across it. He showed up at a LA Fitness, and wherever he was at, and the guys they was playing full court, and they challenged. Somebody called him out, said that he was garbage. He wasn't good. Now Harold is what, 6'10", 6'9", somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Man, when I tell you, this dude was out there looking like Steph Curry on these dudes. I'm talking. He was playing a style of game this dude we ain't never seen in the NBA. Because he don't have to play that way. This dude can shoot. Listen, don't be fooled by some of these players by how they play in the league. They're playing a role. And Hera is a role player. These dudes can play basketball, man. They can play basketball.
They're professionals for a reason.
Yeah, they're professionals for a reason. It's legit. Like, I've played against some guys myself. They weren't even professionals. They played semi-pro. And I was blown away. I was in the men's league. And I played against a couple teams that's been together for a while. They play in these big time tournaments. They play for money, and some of these guys played semi-pro. We played in the game. I promise you, this team probably hit 25 3-pointers. That's what it felt like. Maybe they didn't hit 25. Maybe they hit close to like 17. But it didn't matter if you had a hand in their face. It didn't matter. They hit so many shots that I was just like, you know what? This junk ain't even fair. Now, the team that I was on, don't get me wrong, we lost the game. But we forced overtime after being down like 15, and we ended up losing in overtime by maybe like 7 or 8 points. But I had never in my life, and I've played a lot of basketball. I played against a lot of really good players. I've never experienced that type of shooting ever.
I mean, it's pretty amazing when you're going up against people that are not even 1/10 as good as you, and you know what you can do with that is it's pretty crazy how good they can be, you know.
Yeah. So we're down. It's 105, 3-point lead. Boston 105, 102 with a minute left in that game. So, hold on. They just stole the ball and hit a 3. So now the game is tied. So it's tied.
Man.
It's tied. 42 seconds left. 105. Giannis is bleeding. Giannis is bleeding from the eye. They hadn't stopped the game yet. I'm surprised AFC. This dude's eye is leaking. Yeah, you know what? Giannis is not like we know Giannis. Giannis is not this magnificent shooter or anything like that. He can hit the shot every now and then, but one thing I say about Giannis, and he's different. He is a different breed. He's his mentality, the way he plays, the way the way he goes about basketball is old school. This dude don't take breaks. He don't take games off. He goes hard, even though he's got a championship. He ain't resting. You know what I'm saying? He don't seem like the type that want to go and play with another superstar to get anywhere. You know, he is different. He is not like today's players, and I think that's why a lot of people appreciate the way he plays and who he is as a basketball player, because with the way we see a lot of these players play today, they try to change their game up because people challenge them and say they can't do this and they can't do that. And Giannis like, hey, I'm just going to play my game. And if that ain't good enough at the end of the day, it ain't good enough. But I'm going to do what I do best and what he does best.
Wouldn't you say, Derek, that Giannis is your pretty typical 1994 Bulls versus Knicks in the second round of the playoffs, and they're bludgeoning each other to death over 78-75?
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
you would describe Giannis in today's world?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Because no matter what, no matter how many times he gets hit, I don't see him complain a whole lot about fouls. I mean, he does get hit, but LeBron gets hit, and we see how LeBron complains to the referees about fouls, right? We don't see that from Giannis. Giannis keep going. He just keeps going. Like, you're not gonna call it this time. I'm just gonna drive again. If you don't call it that time, I'm just gonna keep driving. Eventually,
I'm going to keep driving and throw you into the second row and then dunk on you.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what he does.
And he's a great defender. Unlike a lot of our great offensive players in the league, he's a great defender. So, you say he's the best player in the league right now. I can't argue that. I can't argue against
it's between
Jokic.
him and Jokic, honestly.
And people was mad that Jokic won the MVP. People was mad that he won the MVP.
Crazy.
The MVP is a regular season trophy. It don't have nothing to do with the playoffs. So in the regular season, how many games Jokic play? And how many games did your boy play from Philadelphia?
Embiid.
Now,
to me, I don't think there's much of an argument.
I don't either.
That Jokic was the MVP. I didn't think there was any kind of disagreement from me. I mean, the simple argument is you take Embiid off of Philly. They still got Harden, they still got Tobias Harris, they still have Maxey. They still have a couple of things, right?
Yeah.
We just saw this season Michael Porter Jr. maybe played 15 games, 15 games season at most, and then you had no Jamal Murray all year long. And look, Denver didn't have to play in the play-in tournament.
Nope.
I mean, Jokic still gave them, one game in the series versus Golden State. I don't know what else the guy could do. I mean, he's averaging 26 and 13 rebounds and almost 9 assists. It's ridiculous.
And
how good of a shooter he is from three.
Yeah.
There's also a big difference between the two of them, right? Embiid's a better defender probably, but the difference between Embiid passing and Jokic passing is freaking country miles.
Yeah.
And how Jokic can actually run an offense where Embiid, the offense has to run through him.
Yeah, he's more of an isolation.
Correct. He's an excellent post center, 100%. I will never disagree with that about Embiid, but you can't tell me that Jokic is not as good of a player than Embiid. No. I just think it's laughable. And the people are like, oh, Kobe Bryant has less MVPs than Jokic. That's a joke. I'm like, no, it's not. Actually, in that individual argument, I don't think that is at all. I think Jokic deserves the MVP 100%.
Yeah, Jokic.
Out of the three of them.
No, Jokic, everything he's got, he's deserved. He's the best. He's the best player in the league. You got to think is, what he done, and Denver played all season without Murray, who was probably before Murray went out, you would say Murray was the best player on that team. Now, even with Murray coming back, Jokic is the best player on that team. Murray is going to have to, figure out how to play a little differently than he did before he went down. Because now, as you see, this team runs this. He can run the offense, but everything runs off of what Jokic is doing, and his passing ability, his skill level is just, it's through the roof. So, for me,
he's everything that today's NBA center is. There's no that you would ever want somebody in the draft to be. There's nobody in the league that's like Jokic, that at his height, with his skill level, and he's not a bad teammate. I mean, yeah, he gets really pissed off against his opponent.
Nah,
Oh well, that's
I say this.
That's right up Derek Selly, right?
He does he does complain a little bit too much on the fouls, but you know what?
Yes, he does. I'll give you that.
You can't take anything else away from him. I mean, if that's the only negative that you can say about a guy, then that's pretty good. Now, score update. Giannis got fouled, and he went to the line. He made his first free throw, missed the second one. Boston loses the rebound. Portis gets the ball back, lays it up. So now it is 108-107 Milwaukee with about 11 seconds left in this game.
That's a barn burner, man. That's a barn burner. I'm walking to my car to go to softball, so I'm not able to watch it. But I'm keep it with it because I like hearing the updates.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm definitely going to get updates. I got to get updates.
Well, we have the.
We gonna we got my man Nicholas Lane is getting in the vehicle, so we're gonna wait for him to get in the car and then get reconnected to his Bluetooth.
So we got the Western Conference to talk about. The next series is Dallas versus Phoenix. Phoenix is up 3-1. I find it that the Mavericks are just running out of gas. They just don't have a lot left, and Luka can only do so much. Now, I find it very interesting because years ago when Luka was supposed to be drafted, in that top 2, top 3 range, that the Suns should have picked Luka to pair him with Booker. And it just doesn't seem like that Luka and Booker get along pretty well. So, I mean, in theory, obviously, if they're opponents against each other, they're not going to like each other. But I still think to this day, they would be such a dynamite pairing that they would have been impossible to stop between the two of them. But when it comes to Dallas, they're completely out of gas. They don't have a prayer left in the series. Phoenix, I still think even if Phoenix loses Game 5, they're not going to lose Game 6, is how I would see it. But this Dallas team has had a good run this year. They're the Cinderella of the playoffs. I think they're darlings this year. But, they upset the Jazz, but they run into a team that's just too good.
All right, so
Phoenix is too good for them.
We got another update here. So Boston had the ball. They were taking the ball out. They inbound the ball. Smart looks like he has a wide open layup. Drew Holiday comes out of nowhere, blocks the layup, gets possession of the ball, then knocks the ball out of bounds off of Marcus Smart. And it is now Milwaukee's ball with 6.6 seconds left, and Boston is left to foul and do the free throw game. So this game might be over. This game might be over.
Well, we talked about it earlier. I mean, Drew Holiday is a better playoff defender than Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
And Drew Holiday came up with the best play of the game, for there. And it just goes to show, how important Drew Holiday is. I mean, I'm not saying Marcus Smart isn't, but, we talked about earlier that Marcus Smart might have been Defensive Player of the Year, but Drew Holiday is more important in the playoffs when it comes to both sides of the game. And holy crap, huh?
Yeah, this thing is over. Oh, he missed the pass. Smart, what are you doing, bro? Oh my God, Smart choked. Smart choked. Okay, so here we are. I'm finna explain this last series. The game is over. Milwaukee won. Okay, so they inbound the ball. Smart gets the ball. He's on the run. Freaking Tatum is running wide open on the opposite sideline. Smart can't control the ball. He loses control of the ball. He had Brown on one sideline, which was closer to him, but he had freaking Tatum wide open. I mean, wide open. They left Tatum wide open. And he fumbles the ball, gets it stolen, and Milwaukee dribbles the ball out. Game over.
Wow.
Game over.
That doesn't mean that Boston's completely out of the series. It just means that
they got
3 out of 4 times Milwaukee should probably win the series now.
Yep. Yeah, because who was it? Matthews? Matthews fell on the ground. That's what broke Tatum wide open. Matthews fell on the ground and Tatum broke wide open, but Smart was not looking down court. I don't know what he thought he was going to do in that situation. You got 3 guys around you. Everybody's staring at the ball, and one of your best players is running wide open by himself, and you don't see him. That's how the game ends, man. That's
That is, and that's crushing.
Yeah, because they got to go back to Milwaukee now. They have to go back to Milwaukee for Game 6, and that's a situation you didn't want to be in. You rather win this game and have a game in hand with that. Hey, if we lose, we come back to Boston. But now, if you lose, now you're done. So it's all or nothing now. You got to win these 2 games to stay in it.
That can break a team that being that close, and that could break a lot of confidence in teams when that happens. And so Boston's going to have to respond early in Game 6 in order to win.
Yeah, this is a heartbreaking loss because since we've been giving score updates since you've been on, and that was at one point where Boston had a double-digit lead early in the fourth quarter, and they blew it. Hey, this is. I'm not saying that's the reason this game went this way, but what I'm saying is sometimes the style of today's basketball, this is why you're never out of a game, because teams don't slow down. They don't slow the game down when they're up. They continue to play the same way, but as you continue to take these quick shots early in the shot clock, and you're not making them, and then the other team is going down, and they start making their shots, it's easy to come back from these double-digit leads because the style of basketball is so fast that teams don't want to slow the game down even when they're winning.
Which in the playoffs, that's what you should be doing. Is you should be slowing the game down if you're ahead. Now you shouldn't play scared to try not to lose, because you always lose when you do that.
Yeah.
But you should at least slow it down a little bit. I mean, Milwaukee has a huge advantage, as we talked about earlier in the show, that they have one of the best isolation players in the league, easily, even Giannis. And so they have an advantage in that way, where I don't think Boston plays that way, and they don't really have the personnel to really slow it down. I mean, they could go to Tatum a lot, but I just think that Giannis is a better version of doing that.
Yeah.
So, that's where Milwaukee has even the really slightest advantage without Middleton. Now, I feel like if you can give me one series out of the 4 that needs to be having the Undertaker music going on right now, and that is the Warriors and Grizzlies series. Now, we went into this thinking, man, this is going to be a slugfest, 7 games, easy. They're evenly matched teams, so good. Ja Morant is out for the rest of the playoffs. And so, is a bone bruise in his knee.
I hate to break it to Grizzlies fans. They had a fantastic season. They have a great team, a terrific coach. I think they've had a very surprising. They're 1 to 2 years ahead, I think, in development, in my opinion. But Undertaker music is coming. It's a casket match, and I feel like the Grizzlies are getting chokeslammed to the casket. It's going to happen, and congratulations to the Grizzlies, but the Warriors are moving on.
Yeah, and we knew this series here was going to be tough for the Grizzlies. I mean, they're a young team. They have some talent. They're up and coming. But as we all said, a team at full strength like Golden State, there's no team in the Western Conference that can match up with them. I mean, this is everything that the Golden State Warriors worked to all those years when they dealt with, Steph Curry injuries, Klay Thompson being out, Draymond Green being in and out of the lineup. And while all that was happening, they was bringing in these guys that were playing, getting a lot of minutes, getting better year after year, getting better game after game. Now you get the big three back, the original big three, and you push all those guys to the bench. These are starting caliber players that you have coming off of your bench. And Phoenix, yes, that's the only other team that could give them a fight, but they're not going to beat Golden State when Golden State is healthy. It's just the way it is.
I agree. I do think if they played in the Western Conference Finals, which we both feel like they are, that Golden State is going to win that series. I don't know about hands down because it will probably be a good series, but I do think that Golden State is the superior team. They are far better, and yes, Golden State will get to the finals. I don't see a reason why they shouldn't at that point. One team that will not go to the finals and will not go to the finals anytime announced their new head coach on Mother's Day. And that is the Sacramento Kings announced that Mike Brown is going to be their new head coach.
He's back in the league. Back. Mike Brown is back.
Hey, Mike Brown has done really well on Steve Kerr's bench.
Yeah.
But my head is hurting. I need some therapy because, honestly, I don't know what the Kings can do to make them better until they get rid of their ownership, until they get rid of their front office. They can't run a team. They can't run an organization. From what I hear, is a very toxic environment in Sacramento. I've read reports that players, coaches say it. It's a toxic environment. And I'm sorry, but Vivek Ranadive, the owner of the Kings, has been absolutely terrible since he came across being the Kings owner.
So these are not the same. These are not the same the owners that was on the team under the Sacramento Kings when they had Chris Webber and those guys. These are different dudes, right?
No, they were different dudes. Those were the Maloof brothers.
Okay.
They used to own the Palms in Las Vegas. I don't know if they still do, but Vivek Ranadive did buy them, quite a while ago, and they've been terrible.
Yeah.
And they gave up Tyrese Halliburton to get Domantas Sabonis. So obviously the jury's out to see if you give the keys to a franchise to De'Aaron Fox and if it works. Now, I think next season is going to be very telling if you're going to give the keys to a De'Aaron Fox, and if it does work, then great. If not, then you guys look like freaking fools, as always.
Yeah.
So, to me, hiring Mike Brown doesn't do anything for this organization, and it won't. And that's no knock on Mike Brown. He's deserved a new head coaching job to come back and be a head coach. I don't think he is not deserving. I feel like he should be a coach, but that team at that time with that ownership, it's going to blow up. It's not going to work. They're going to fire him in 2 years. To me, I don't think it's going to work. What's going on there is just it's a bad situation. I think all around. So that's my take on the Mike Brown situation. I think it's great that he got rehired. I think it's deserving, but that team, that ownership, it is a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, and as you stated earlier, man, the Maluk brothers, they were great owners, and I didn't know that they had sold the team, so that is brand new news to me. But I'm not following the Sacramento Kings either, so but they haven't been good for a while, and you're right. At some point, you can fire and hire as many coaches as you want, but it's the same. If it's the same thing through each and every coach, then it's time to look at what you're doing wrong as an ownership. Maybe your philosophy is backwards. Maybe you're not making the proper moves, or you're not listening to the right people. Sometimes it could just be as simple, hey, you got the basketball minds in your front office, but you're not listening to them. You want to do your own thing. So,
well, I think there's a part of that's true, and I think their development sucks. Their drafting ability hasn't been the greatest, and they can't really get free agents. And when they have tried, they've overpaid for the wrong guys. I mean, they overpaid for Zach Randolph. They overpaid for Greg George Hill a couple of off seasons ago, and it's just it doesn't work. I mean, they have two good players. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is an excellent player. Domantas Sabonis is an excellent player, but Davion Mitchell is their wild card, and he's just a second-year guy. I don't think he's ready to be this huge X factor yet. He can have a pretty good season, but at what cost? Like they don't have a lot of help. They don't have good. They always. They don't get the greatest luck in the lottery, and then when they do, they draft Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I don't know. To me, the team's a train wreck. The organization's a train wreck, and it's at no fault of Mike Brown, and he'll eventually be a scapegoat, and the pattern will continue in Sacramento.
Yeah, and like you said, no fault of Mike Brown. He's had some success in this league. He's been a good coach. But in a situation like that, like as you said, more than likely he's gonna end up being a scapegoat because they can't function, and they're gonna need somebody to blame. Mike Brown is that guy.
So before I'm gonna go, I'm gonna mention two things. One, rest in peace to Adrian Payne, who passed away yesterday or 2 days ago. He is actually known for being on the first Anthony Bennett All-Stars list. I watched him play in Portland. He played for Minnesota for a few years. He was a bench guy. Didn't play a lot. And I watched him play, and I was like, who is this guy? And I looked at his stats, and I was like, holy crap. And he only plays like a couple minutes a night. Man, this guy sucks. And so I kind of zeroed in on him, and I put him on my first list. And, he was murdered 2 days ago. So rest in peace to Adrian Payne. That's obviously a tragedy. When you're on the Anthony Bennett All-Stars list, you're obviously nothing is wished upon you like that. So I feel bad for that situation. And next Tuesday is the NBA draft lottery. I'm going to be watching that like a hawk. I'm going to be really close watching where all these guys are going to go, position wise in the draft lottery. Be crossing my fingers for the Thunder, and we can talk prospects in the conference finals next week.
Yep, man, and it's a tough situation, but we're just doing what we do. So.
Well, there's some good prospects that we'll talk about next week. So some of our listeners can find out about what their team can look forward to in the top 5 if they can make it. So, the draft lottery is going to be a big deal next Tuesday, and I'm going to be looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, we be interesting to see, who ends up with what. Honestly, I'm gonna rely on you because I really don't know who is what in this coming draft. No, they, I don't even know what prospects are out there. Because I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to college basketball this season until March Madness, and I think there's maybe one kid that they talked about coming out of high school. I think, but don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. Um, but that's it. So I'm gonna rely on you for the draft talk and the information on each player coming out, because if I miss somebody, I know you got my back. So um
You know it.
yep. Well, brother, I know you. I can hear the people in the background, so I know you out there at the softball field, getting ready to knock in some ground balls. Um, that's okay. Long as you get you a couple of hits and knock you in a couple runs, I'm not asking for anything, overboard. I know it is tough hitting a home run in softball. I knew one person that I saw that was strong enough, but he was a baseball player. And he's the only person I ever seen hit a softball out of the park.
I've given up a couple of homers, but
Oh
you
yeah.
know, it happens. But I try to
Try to keep him in the
limit
park.
to maybe a couple per season, but
Yeah.
that's about the most I could probably do. Otherwise, I'll just walk the guy.
Yeah.
I'd rather just walk the guy and just not get a homer off me.
Yeah, man. Hey, is it bad to walk somebody in softball, or is that more normal than just baseball? You rarely see walks a whole lot, like intentional walks. In softball, is it normal? Because if a guy has power and he times this thing just right, he could be a straight up monster in softball. So is it normal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it normal to walk people? More normal in softball to walk people than it is playing regular baseball.
I would say yeah. It depends on if you're just throwing it to just throw meatballs out there and let them hit it, then yeah, it's not going to matter because they're just going to hit it anyway. But if you're actually trying to, throw it high or throw it to a corner or something like that, then yeah, you might not. For me, it's timing of where my arm angle, hits. Right. So if I don't hit it right, then it's going to go way off the plate, or it's going to be well short, or that happens. It's like a bowler. Like if they don't have their rhythm, or if you're playing, cornhole, same thing. If you just release it wrong, then it's going to be off. And pitching in softball is the same type of thing.
All right, I got another question. Now that you're talking about pitching in softball, my next question
Yeah.
is: as a softball pitcher, are there different pitches you can throw in softball opposed to obviously baseball? But are there different type of pitches in softball, or is it all just about staying in that pocket with the underhand pitch?
Yes, it totally is. I throw like a spinner ball, so like I'll as I release it, I spin the ball.
Yeah.
And I try to try to screw with them it's kind of like a curveball in a way. It comes off the bat differently if they don't hit it well enough.
Okay.
It can make a powerful hitter pop it up, or it can make a powerful hitter, not hit it as hard because it comes off the hand differently, and especially if they're not expecting it. So, yeah, I mix it up with that for sure.
Okay, so the underhand, let's say now we're gonna get a little bit of softball lesson here. So I'm a pitcher, right? Can I pitch underhand and release the ball with my hand on top of the ball, or do I have to release the ball with my hand underneath the ball?
you can position your arm to release it like kind of like an ephus pitch, like a wrist motion.
Yeah.
Where you can have the ball kind of like down in your hand and then just release it by snapping your wrist up.
Okay.
And then you can do that. It's just normally the ball just kind of floats and it doesn't go very hard.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to get those down as strikes. You have to actually like do that and throw it at the same time. So it's kind of tough in a way, but yeah, you can do that too.
See, I've never really, I've played softball a few times, but I never pitched. So, but I tell you this, I was trying to hit the ball so hard that I was striking out because I was just getting up there like, man, I'm just finna swing for the fence, and my boys
just coming so slow at you, it's easy. Huh?
Yeah, yeah. So you
and
see the ball,
and then you look like a fool.
Yeah, you see this ball coming at you, and it's like, yeah, I got this thing lined up, and I was swinging early every time, man. I was either swinging early or I was swinging late, and everybody was laughing at me, and I was like,
it's like that ball is floating, and then you got Tom Thibodeau yelling, "Hit the ball! Swing the bat so hard you don't know how fast you're gonna hit the ball or not." And you miss it, and there it is. It's kind of like no matter what in life, Tom Thibodeau has some kind of effect of it being negative, and that's where I think in softball diamond you got that there too. Yeah, I'm like a maniac from the dugout, probably.
Ramrod, huh?
Team Ramrod. Yeah, that guy will never. That guy's a Hall of Famer, man, in my book.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna stretch and go play, but I'll catch you next week, bud.
All right, brother. Appreciate you coming on, man. Hey, have a good game. Don't pull nothing running the bases, and then you're good.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Rat Pack Sports Show, NBA insider, Mr. Nicholas Lane, and as you guys will find out, man, as you listen to this show more and more, we do talk a lot of sports, and but a lot of times we come off of topics at hand, and we can go in the left field, we can go in the right field, but it's all well and good. But I appreciate my guy coming on, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in and listening to the segment as well. We'll have this segment here on the after the show. Actually, it'll be a full 2 hours because I didn't split it up this time. So if you want to go back and listen, you'll have to listen to a little bit of the first maybe 45 minutes to get to Nicholas Lane segment, but it will be up at the podcast. You can just head over to ratpacksportshow.podbean.com, and there it is. But yeah, so in the Rat Pack Sports Show chat group, we're chatting all day long. So everybody by now knows about the big time contract that Buccaneers current quarterback, Mr. Tom Brady, got from, who was it? In NBC, I think. ABC? I think it was NBC. Maybe, I don't know. NBC, CBS, ABC, EDF, whatever. But he's got a $10 million, $300+ million broadcasting contract, and dude is still playing. I seen this yesterday, and I was thrown off a little bit because I was like, hold on, ain't this dude still playing? Am I missing something? Did Tom Brady retire again? What's going on? Why how is he signing history making broadcasting contract before he even retires and calls it quits again. And apparently they locked him in. They wanted to lock him in, and we'll see. I've never seen Tom Brady on camera. I've never seen, you know, as a Buccaneer fan, the last, two, is it 3 years? Hold on. I guess the last 2 years, yeah. Last 2 years. It seemed like he's been with the Bucks forever. It's only been 2 seasons. Hold on. 2. First season, yeah. Yeah, 2 years. Crazy. But since he's become a Buccaneer quarterback, we've seen the side of Tom Brady we've not a lot of people never really seen in New England, and he's more interactive on social media, and he has his little TikTok page, and he does little TikToks here and there. He seems to be a funny guy, somebody that doesn't mind being in front of the cameras, obviously, but I never envisioned Tom Brady, going into broadcasting once he retires. But apparently, that is going to be happening whenever he decides to hang him up, whether it's after this season, next season, whichever. Dude has a $300+ million contract over 10 years. That's very similar to the contract that the Kansas City Chiefs gave Pat Mahomes. It wasn't 300, but hey, it was big enough. And we'll see. Somebody who I thought when they retire would be perfect for television hasn't done it yet, but well, he kind of in a way he does his own thing, and that's Peyton Manning. I would have loved to hear Peyton Manning announce some games, like not what he's doing with his brother. I mean, what he's doing, what him and Eli is doing on Monday night is great, and that's probably what he wants, the way he wants it, because he can really control what he says, and he can do whatever he wants to do, and it's his show. You don't have to listen to nobody tell him he has to talk about this player or talk about that player or cover this topic. He just gets on there, him and Eli, and they have a ball with it. I haven't watched one fully all the way through. I've seen some in clips, but next season I'm gonna watch a full Monday night game and listen to Peyton and Eli break the game down and see how I like it. Obviously, I mean, apparently they doing pretty good. I mean, it's popular. They have guests come on the show, and Peyton is eating chicken wings on the air, and Eli Manning is taking shots. I mean, that's probably the perfect situation for Peyton and Eli. We know the two dudes are funny. They've made commercials all throughout their career, whether they were with both of them in it or one of the other. There's a lot of humor. Those guys are funny, man. Peyton Manning he's got that what you call it, that dry, you know, that sneaky humor. Like some of the comments he makes, he just got a face for it. He's got a good ear for television. So there was a point where when Peyton Manning retired, a lot of people was talking about Peyton Manning going into broadcasting, but doing games like national broadcast games in the booth, because he was so good, just giving detail and explaining stuff, which is what you need. It's what made um you know John Madden so great. It's what made guys like Howard Cosell so great. One of those two guys, people, I believe, and I saw something today where they said there's only been two broadcasters in the history of sports where people actually tuned in just to watch them. And they actually brought viewers to the tubes, and that was Madden and Cosell. So maybe they're hoping, Tom Brady, being Tom Brady, could bring, more viewers to the television. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, listen, uh who would have thought Tony Romo would be one of the better broadcasters out there? You had before Gruden came back to coaching, John Gruden was in the booth, and John Gruden was for everything that people want to say about John Gruden right now because of what happened in not even what happened in Oakland. This is what John Gruden was fired for happened 15 years ago, I think, or 12, 13 years ago. But for what it's worth, John Gruden was on his way. He was on his way. People love to hear John Gruden on announced games. I don't know if he'll ever get back in the booth. We know how the culture is in today's landscape. Uh, Maybe after a while he kind of lay low for a little bit. Um, who knows? But John Gruden is one of the best out there. He did it for a long time, made a lot of money. He was doing, Monday Night Football. That is prime time, baby. That's prime time. That's being the best of the best. Um, so had Gruden, and then Tony Romo, the choke artist that we all watched his Dallas Cowboy career. He was a great quarterback, but he never could get it done in the games that meant something. Well, Tony Romo leaves football and joins the booth, and dude, Tony Romo is probably in my eyes, Tony Romo is probably the best right now. And I know a lot of people say, Collinsworth and all of that. Nah. I don't really like Collinsworth. Uh I think he could be a little bit of a fanboy. I think he could be a little bit of a fanboy, but and for some reason he just he gets on my nerves, especially when if it's the Cowboys and he announcing. mm, I don't know, man. I mean, he's good, but I don't think I think Tony Romo's better. I think Tony Romo's better. Um, but so maybe with Brady, they're hoping that Brady can bring some of that spark, that those guys have some enlightenment of what goes on in the huddle. I mean, that's with Tony Romo. Tony Romo has made his money being so detailed to where this dude is in the booth calling out plays before they even run them. I don't like Troy Aikman either. I don't like Troy Aikman. And they always give Troy Aikman Cowboys games. So which I think that's a mistake. It's my boy here. Troy Aikman's pretty good. I don't like Troy Aikman, man. I don't like Troy Aikman. But Tony Romo came on the scene like a ball of fire, just and him being able to predict the next play or predict what the coach is thinking. This man is in the booth now. He's not playing anymore, and he played his whole career with Dallas. But he's calling out plays of playbooks of coaches that he's never played for just based off of the knowledge that he gained while he played for the Cowboys and the tendencies. This is why, and for what it's worth, like I said, Tony Romo, a great career. The guy wasn't even supposed to be this good. He was drafted low. Um, and really, he was just a guy that Bill Parcells brought in probably as like camp meat, training camp meat. Those guys you bring them in just to see what they got. You don't really have no real intentions on keeping them around. And then Romo shows up and impresses, and then he ends up, making the team. And not only making the team, obviously we know the story, being a starting quarterback, and for what it's worth, one of the better quarterbacks in our generation just had won the championship. Um, but that dude just have a knack, and the only way you could be as good as Tony Romo is being able to memorize and anticipate and have that that it factor when it comes down to recognizing what the defense is doing, and he's taking that same mentality and running it right into the booth. And I think it's wonderful to watch, man. At first, a lot of people was just like, maybe he's just getting lucky with this, and then he just kept doing it over and over and over again. And it's like, when you're watching a game on TV and you listening to the announcers, you like for the announcers to give you something, man. Not just announce the game. Give me some information that I don't know. Give me some little tidbits that I don't know. Give me the inside. You don't have to tell me what's going on inside the locker room, but we watching the game on the field. Give me some insight on the process, what it comes down to reading the play for a quarterback, what the read is for a running back coming out of the backfield, based on this coverage versus that coverage. What is the read on this route for the running back, or the option route that the wide receivers get with the quarterback, where the quarterback lines up, they call the option route in the huddle, and you have an option to, okay, if the defense does this, you do this, and if they does that, you do that. So Tony Romo has been great in that respect. As an announcer for the game, is giving you an insight on stuff that you know my generation at least haven't seen in a announcer. John Gruden is good. Collinsworth, he's good in his own way. Collinsworth kind of, to me, sound like a cheerleader, and Troy Aikman is, as long as he's not announcing Cowboys games, he's decent. He's decent, but every big time Cowboy game, you got Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. That is the connection. Troy Aikman, Joe Buck. So um that is where we're at with that, man. But I think with Brady, we'll see. We'll see what Brady brings to the table. We'll see what he do when he gets his chance. Um, you got to be able to bring something different, to the game. You can't be like somebody else. So we'll see what Brady is capable of announcing games in the booth. But I thought that contract was surprising. Caught me off guard. I thought Brady had him re-retired or something. I was looking at going to social media to see what was going on, because I'm like, dude, what do you mean? He's still playing in the league, and you give this guy a 10 year, $300+ million contract to announce games. My man Dunny says he has a little bit of a nerdy voice. Yeah, he do. He does. He does have a little bit of a nerdy voice. So at times that nerd is gonna break out of him. That nerd is gonna break out of him at times. So I guess this would eliminate him, um, possibly being the owner of the Dolphins. I mean, that Ruben, you can't own the team and be announcing as a commentary. I don't think so. Maybe that rumor there is pretty much being tossed out the window. I mean, maybe it had some legs on it, but now with him, signing that contract to go in the booth, you can't be an owner and do that. So I don't think that is gonna happen anymore. Then we got OTAs coming up for the Bucks, obviously, with them changing head coaches, even though it's still status quo and nothing's really new. I'm not even watching the game. My man Mike. Oh, Memphis is up. Man, I must have been looking at the game wrong. My man Dunny says he's gonna say a lot of golly and wowzers. He better not. He better not get on TV talking about some golly and wowzers. Nobody don't want to hear that. I mean, it's funny the first couple of times, but you don't want that to be your go to. Gee golly, oh wires, wowzers. Hey, let me ask y'all a question. Actually, let me ask y'all a question. See how many I'm gonna wait for my wife to come here. See if she can ask this question. Hey, Stacy. Stacy. Hello. She don't hear me. I'll be right back. Got him. All right, so this is a shout out to my man Mike who presented this to me. I didn't believe it. He didn't believe it. But and I'm gonna throw this question at everybody here that's listening and watching. Did you guys know if you grew up watching cartoons like we all did? We grew up all watching cartoons, right? Now we got a lot of Disney people out here. A lot of fans of Disney. Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck. Did y'all know that Goofy is a cow? Did y'all know? Because I didn't know. I didn't know, and I didn't want to believe it. My buddy, my buddy presented this to me, and he look, everybody saying Goofy's a dog. Man, listen, my man, I'm gonna throw I'm gonna throw this question in here just for everybody. Man says Goofy's a dog. I thought he was a dog too. My buddy that presented me with this dilemma said Goofy was a dog. He thought Goofy was a dog. We telling everybody Goofy's a dog. My wife is the biggest Disney fan you could possibly find. She says Goofy's a dog. She don't even know Goofy's a cow. Shocker. It's a shocker. And she's probably gonna go and look it up on the internet to see if this is true or not. And if it ain't, my man Mike, we gonna have to talk. And my man Donnie says, if he is a cow, then he's a skinny cow. Hey, I'm just as lost as the rest of you guys, man. I'm just as lost as the rest of you guys because I still don't want to believe it. And I'm not the biggest Disney person, but I watch Disney, and everybody that saw Goofy as a dog. Everybody. But Goofy's a cow? He's a cow, man. He's a cow. And I think my man Mike is in here. So Mike, if you hear this, man, you need to confirm this. Hey, he is just as distraught as the rest of us. He is just as distraught as the rest of us, man. I was thrown for a loop. Man, we talked for about 30 minutes, and the whole time I just kept saying, man, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Let's see. And even my wife, I just went in there and told her, and she was like, no, Goofy's a dog. Okay. I'm just saying. Goofy's a cow, man. You can find anything on the internet. So let's see. And look it up. See if I can get a confirmation here on Google. Google better do me right too. All right. Is Disney? Yep, look at that. Look at that. I'm looking at it right here, man. Right here. Everywhere that I'm looking is saying hold on. Goofy, hold on. It says it's not a cow and hasn't been inspired from a breed of a Scottish cow. What? Hold on. While some might argue that Goofy is actually a dog and not a cow, and some quite the opposite, it can be universally agreed that the popular let's see, that the oh wait, what, come on, man. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna read this thing here. Goofy now we're away from sports. We're gonna do something different here. Goofy has been cited as a dog with human features. Disney website has likened Goofy to Pluto, but elaborated that Goofy has more of a human character. Goofy was created as a human character, as opposed to Pluto, who was a pet. So he walked upright and had a speaking voice. Oh, come on, man. Here we have it. Difficult variable, Pluto. Almost everyone in agreement that Pluto is a dog. However, it is about Goofy that people have set their own doubts. Pluto is a dog. We know Pluto is a dog. We know this, man. But when it comes to Goofy, it walks straight and also carries the other few traits like wearing clothes, talking to everyone else around him, which makes him tough to classify. The fact of the matter is that Goofy is a anthropomorphic anthropomorphic dog as he carries the attributes of human traits and emotion, although he is actually not hope. What are you saying? That didn't tell me nothing. But he's attracted to a cow. I know that. Okay. Let's see. I'm reading here. And it says he is not a dog. Pluto is a dog, but Goofy seems to be in a canine family the same way that a wolf is not a dog, but they're also in a canine family. So think Canis Goofus in a technical term for what Goofy is. He is just Goofy. That didn't tell me nothing. That didn't tell me nothing. And now we're going to go here. Man, I don't know. He's he could be a dog, he could be a cow, he could be a hybrid. Let's just say he's a hybrid. It's a cow. My man. He said if he is a cow, then he got mad cow disease. Yeah, he might. So it's a dog that's attracted to a cow. I blame Mike. I blame my boy Mike. He started this. Man, what you talking about? Go Leafs. Go. Oh, I do see the oh, my man Donnie. Donnie. I see it. You know what, man? I'm not mad. I am mad that the Tampa Bay Lightning gave that game away last night. But you know what? How much can you win, right? How much can you win? We've got back-to-back Stanley Cups. We've got three Stanley Cups in the history of this franchise. There's three more than a lot of teams in a short time period. The Lightning has only been in existence for, I want to say, late 80s, early 90s. So you're talking maybe like 25, 30 years. 30 years, yeah. So, I mean, most teams play that long. They don't have one, they don't have two. We got three, and we got two back to back. So, I'm not, if we don't win it this year, I'd be a little disappointed they didn't get out of the get back into the conference finals or get out of the first round. This is the first round. What am I thinking? This is the first round. But the Maple Leafs are a good team, man. Maple Leafs are a good team. Yeah, we know y'all got 14, but it's been a while. And NHL hockey is a lot better when a Canadian team wins it. I mean, that's where the game originated at. So, Canadian fans, whatever Canadian team you're a fan of, I think they all root for each other in the playoffs because you want to see a Canadian team win it. I don't. I want to see the Lightning win it, but when they can't, hey, can't win them all. Yeah, I told a buddy of mine this a couple of days ago because we was talking about the Lightning games, And I was telling them, I said, man, listen, Tampa Bay Lightning, my man say, screw the other Canadian teams, only the Leafs. Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it, man. But I think you guys feel a lot better when the Canadian team does win it. That's just the feeling I get. Maybe I'm wrong, but um, it's a game that their country, that's where it started. The original six, anyone but Montreal. Okay, yeah, that's the rival. So that is there, man. But we don't win it. Hey, it's been a great run. It's not like we won't go on it. We won't have a chance to win many more. The there's a couple teams in this Eastern Conference that got me a little nervous even heading into the playoffs. I did not like the last few years, as you can see, even though the Lightning were making their run like they were making, there were a few teams that you could see them growing. You can see them developing. You can see them putting it all together. And you knew if they stayed on that same track that they was going to be a dangerous team. One of the teams were the Maple Leafs because I seen how the Maple Leafs played us year in and year out, and they made a lot of moves to get better in the off season, and that is a young team with a lot of speed, and they actually match up pretty good with the Lightning because the Lightning has a lot of speed. So this is a great matchup for the Lightning. As a first round series, this feels more like a conference final type of matchup, which it wouldn't have been a bad thing to see. A matchup like this in the conference finals, but they aren't even the best team in the East. I think they're just a better matchup. Another team that and I seen this last season. I seen this after last season was the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers slowly, they came from the bottom. They hadn't always been right where they're at right now. But Florida Panthers, I saw it last season. They was, starting to, match up a little bit better with the Lightning. They was, being able to skate with them. They, obviously the goaltending is a major, major plus. And then they were improving. So last season I could see the Florida Panthers as that team, and I think after the Lightning played them in the playoffs last season, I said, man, they gonna be a problem in a few years. I didn't think it'll be this year, but the Panthers is another team, and they led the NHL in points with 122 points. So that was another team that I would have rather not have to play, in the playoffs, but in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. And in the regular season, they were the best team. The Lightning was fifth in the conference, and like I said, 110 points is not something to slouch about. I mean, that is a lot of points. 110 points is a lot of points, but Panthers had 122. Toronto had 115 points. So, and we were tied with the Rangers. And late in the season, the Lightning was starting to slip in their play a little bit. Defensively, they was, starting to lose some of that bite that they had on the defensive end. I felt like goaltending wise, Vasilevsky kind of wasn't playing. I mean, Vazzy is always going to be one of the top 5 goaltenders in the league, but I also felt like Vasilevsky play had them fell off a little bit. And when I say that, I don't mean that as like, Vazzy sucks, but defensively we weren't playing well in front of him. So by not playing well in front of him, his play is going to suffer a little bit because now he's being asked to stand on his head a lot more. And you don't want your goaltender to be standing on his head every game. You want him to stand on his head in some games and save you, but you don't want to be asking him to do those things on a consistent basis. I just Stamkos is his family from there. Man, they're hey, I'm not mad about that. We all know, what his family is. We know who they fans of. Uh, hey, I like that. You just because you play for the Lightning, you think we gonna be Lightning fans? No, we're Leafs. We're Leafs fans. Uh, but that's funny though. But hey, I get it. I get it. Stamkos probably have a little chuckle about it, but it is kind of messed up because you're playing against the Leafs and on the Lightning, and your family are cheering your failure. Your family is cheering your failure to beat the Leafs. So when you go home at night and you talk to your family, how does that conversation go? Yeah, Stamkos, great game, man. But I was so glad you missed that goal, and he had one too. He had an opportunity with a wide open net and missed it. So I probably wouldn't pick up. The phone, honestly. I just let it be known before it even go down. Hey, um, um, geez, I just lost my train of thought. Mm, yeah, but I'll probably be like, I wouldn't answer the phone. You're not. I'm not gonna talk to you after a game like that. Just don't even call me. Give me a couple days, uh, and it'll be gone. But yeah, Stamkos did have a wide open. I don't know how open it was because on the replay, but when I saw the replay, it did look like it was open for a split seconds, and he just missed it. You know, the Lightning just inconsistent. And as I was saying about Vasilevsky, when you're inconsistent in front of him, he's gonna give up more than he normally will. So um the problem is not Vasilevsky, it's what's going on in front of him. Like that, I think it was goal number 4 that after the game was tied at 3, um they scored that fourth goal. I think it was the fourth goal, but the play was the puck was in the corner, and I forget the Lightning player that it was, but they left. I think it was Matthew right in front of the goaltender. They left him wide open right in front of the goaltender to chase a puck, and the Toronto player saw it and just it was bang bang one timer. You're not blocking that, and that's not on the goaltender. So that is on the defense. Even though the goaltender gets credited with giving up the goal, that's on the defense, man. You can't leave guys wide open right in front of the goaltender. I mean, more often than not, that's a goal against any goaltender. That is a goal unless that goaltender is seeing the puck that well and standing on his head that night. But to me, the sense of urgency, for the Tampa Bay Lightning, in the game that is that close, You know, uh, hey, appreciate you tuning in, Donnie, man. I appreciate it. Hey, same place, same time next week. So if you want to tune in next week, hey, we can tune in. Even if the Maple Leafs do knock out the Lightning, uh, it is what it is, man. The Lord Stanley is the hardest championship in all the sports to win, and I would take that. I will go all the way. You can't convince me. You can't convince me that it's not. And if you try to, I'm gonna just look at you with the look like you're done yet, because it's not. It's not. So he said, "Go Bucks, go Leafs, go Blue Jays." Well, you know what? You're a Bucks fan, so I'm gonna let you pass with that. And my Rays are pretty good. So, but the Blue Jays are pretty good this year too. So, you're doing really good this year. Bucks, good team. Leafs, you know, really good team. Blue Jays, a lot of people are predicting the Blue Jays to win the division. We'll see how that goes. But right now you're doing good. You're batting 1,000 right now, man. But appreciate you, man. Hey, appreciate you tuning in and interacting with us. And we hopefully we see you next week. So yeah, but back to the Lightning, because that game last night kind of made me upset a little bit. But um, you know, they got to be better. They have to be better. Like I say, they're inconsistent. And to me, for a team that's down, they don't shoot the puck enough. Anybody that's listening to this, you watch the Lightning games, um, they don't shoot the puck enough, man. They they rather pass, they rather make a bad pass into traffic than shoot the puck at the net. Put the puck on net and hope that you get a ricochet that come off of the goaltender. That's how a lot of teams get their dirty goals. Toronto had a couple goals last night just like that. And I've grown to realize, in hockey, a lot of those times they shoot that puck at that goaltender just for that reason. If he's a goaltender that's not seeing the puck well and he's giving up a lot of rebounds, then they'll literally shoot the puck at his pads to get that ricochet rebound. We don't do that. We just sit there and do nothing. Pass the ball, pass the puck back and forth, look cute, turn it over, and then go down on the other end and give up a goal. We Last night we had a 2-on-1 situation, and um I don't know what the Lightning was thinking, because the players, they were skating too close together. And he still tried to pass the puck to the other Lightning player, and the defender sitting right there and his stick right there, and you still try to pass the puck to this guy, and he's like 6 feet away from you. The defender can play both of y'all that close together because he's got a freaking stick that's like 6 feet long. So you're not doing anything right there. So take the shot take the shot on that, put the puck on that, and hope that the other guy catch a loose rebound and get a goal that way. But they don't do that, man. It's just pass, and then late in the game they down 1 goal, and then they just dumping the puck in and passing it off the boards. I'm like, man, shoot the puck. It seems like every year I'm sitting here watching the Lightning in the playoffs, and I'm screaming, shoot the puck. Shoot the puck. All these other teams are shooting the puck. They're getting the dirty goals. They're getting the dirty goals. We want to get all our goals looking cute. And that's part of the reason. Like the last few years, we had those guys on our team that'll get in there and get the ugly, get dirty goals. And some of them guys we got rid of. Now we trying to figure out, we trying to play winning hockey in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The game is different than the regular season. Now we having a difficult time transitioning from regular season hockey to playoff hockey. Well, they got one game. And after that one game, you don't win, your season over with. You're going home in the first round. And like I say, I'm glad we got the two back to back, but I don't want to go home in the first round. You supposed to be better than that. So if they get knocked out in the first round, man, you got to make some changes. I know we winning, but that'll be the second time in the last 3 years. Well, 4 years if you want to count this year. So yeah, 2 times in the last 4 years we get knocked out in the first round. We got knocked out in the first round in 2019. Yeah, we got knocked out of the first round, swept out of the first round by the Blue Jackets. And then the next 2 years we won it. And then this year we about to get knocked out of the first round. I'm not saying blow the team up, but I just don't see nobody in there, fighting, getting dirty in front of the goaltender, like distract, just enough to distract his view. We're just trying to play this wide open game of hockey, and we're letting the goaltender see the puck all the way through. And then you see, Vasilevsky, and he's fighting, trying to see around guys that just standing in front of him. And the Tampa Bay Lightning players are not doing anything to move these dudes out the way. I don't get it, man. And they do this every year. The last 2 years, they were a lot better at it because they had those guys that are just going there, knock them guys out, so Vasilevsky could be able to see that puck clean. Yesterday, they weren't doing that. Guys were just spotting up right in front of Vasilevsky, and nobody was getting in front of them to move them out the way. And it's like, you got to get them guys out of there, man. So your goaltender, if Vasilevsky could see clear, he's going to 9 out of 10 times he's going to get that puck. He's going to stop that puck. He's that good. Actually, 9.5 out of 10 times he's going to stop that puck because the save percentage like 96, 95, 96%, something like that. So let's see, save percentage, Vasilevsky. Where is he? Goaltender. That's just skating. I need to see goaltender. There we go. So Vasilevsky in the playoffs, and this ain't good. Your goaltender save percentage in the playoffs is 88%. That ain't good. So he hasn't been good at all in the playoffs, but a lot of that is because they're not good in front of him, man. Regular season wise, his save percentage in the regular season was 91. So that, 0.3 of a percentage, bro, that's a whole goal. That's a whole goal per game. So actually it's 1.2 goals per game. So that's not good. So yeah, he does have to be better. And he's got they have to play a perfect game. And hey, my man said before he go, Goofy is a dog. Hey, I hope he is. Man. But I'm seeing a lot that's saying that he's like some type of dog or cow or he's a dog with human-like features. He's a cow with human-like. I don't know, man. I'm just reading this stuff. I I was just throwing off as y'all was when my guy told me that. So I just wanted to present it to y'all and see how many of y'all knew that. Maybe my boy was lied to. We all can't be crazy, right? We all can't be crazy. Even him. We was all lied to. We were lied to. But yeah, so but they got to be better, obviously, and hopefully they come back. And these next two games they got to play perfect because Toronto is better than them. Let's be real. They finished the regular season better than them, and in the playoffs, they're they're displaying a better brand of hockey than what the Tampa Bay Lightning are putting on the ice. So they have to get better. If not, then we'll be sitting home. My neck hurt. We'll be sitting home, and the Maple Leafs will be, moving on. So they got to have laser sharp focus um for the rest of this season. Well, yeah, the rest of this season. And score update: Memphis is up 20 on Golden State without Morant, which is crazy. So without Morant, these dudes are up 20 points. You just don't see that. But as I was telling a buddy of mine, I got a lot of buddies, man, that I talk sports with. So these not the same one person that I'm. So where every time I say a buddy of mine, these are different people. But Memphis in this season is like 20 and 4 or 20 and 5 or 20 and 6 or something like that without Morant. So they know how to play basketball without having Morant in the lineup. But Golden State is going to make a run. It's too much offense on that team for them not to make a run. Oh man, not a down 20, 77-50. The series still over with. I mean, they down 3 games to 1. You think they're gonna pull a miracle and come back and win the same 4-3? Nah, bruh. Nah, bruh. I don't see that. I do not see that. Um, but it very well could go to 6 games, and maybe a seventh game if they do enough. Maybe, but as me and Nicholas Lane said, they're still too good. They're still too good, and we don't expect them to beat them. What is this? March 25th. Um, let's see, March 3/12. What is this? Um, what am I looking at? Sorry, guys, I just got distracted real quick. I'm looking at something. 20 for the Bayhouse. All right, so yeah, but we'll see, man. It's still gonna be a good series. If Morant could come back and finish those last, couple games, then it'll be even more interesting. But I just feel like, Golden State is just a superior team, and they're not gonna win this series. it's good to have hope, and it's good to have faith that your team can. That's a good team on the other end, but I just don't think they're good enough. There's too much weaponry on the other end. Hold on. Where is but where we at now? We're at the 11 o'clock, man. So we're nearly. This show is over with, my guy. William Graves is probably asleep, and William Graves is probably asleep, and Boss Hog. It was the Boss Hog that said he would be out of here today, and we got through it. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, as always, I appreciate y'all tuning in. I appreciate everybody who commented and interacted with us. Hey, same place, same time. Next Wednesday night. Our Sunday night shows, we do not stream those. We just do audio. So the last few Sundays we haven't done the show in the off season. We kind of like dial it back a little bit on Sunday nights because normally Sunday nights are just mainly for um, during football season because you got Monday night game coming up, and then you can talk about all the games on the Sunday nights. Normally we just do Sunday nights weekly during the football season, and then in the off season we kind of dial it back to just maybe a few times a month, for Sunday nights. But Wednesday nights we're always here. Every week we're always here, and hey, come back, bring more, and get more interaction, more people involved. Man, we enjoy it. We enjoy you know the conversation back and forth on the chat. The last few weeks, 2-3 weeks of the show has been very well, good interactive. And my man Brandon, uh appreciate you, young man, listening to the show. This is my nephew, by the way. And my man just had a birthday, so happy birthday to him. And love you, kid. But we'll see you guys on the flip side. And I know earlier in the show, I didn't realize that music was still playing on this thing. So I hope that you guys weren't hearing music, in the background the whole time that I was talking earlier in the show. I didn't hear anybody say anything, so I don't think that was the case because I had uh the volume turned all the way down on the speakers that control the the audio coming into the mixer from the computer. So I think we were good there, but we would get out of here, man. We're gonna see y'all on the flip side. And that being said, fellas, we'll see you guys next week. This is Rat Pack Sports Show Live. Make sure you hit us up on Twitter at Rat Pack Sports with a Z. Download the app Rat Pack Radio WRPR, or you can download the TuneIn app if you're on iPhone as well. Find us on Facebook, Rat Pack Sports Show. You can also find us Rat Pack Sports Show group as well. Everybody over at Bucks Life, appreciate y'all tuning in. And from everybody here at Rat Pack, myself, Boss Hog, left field correspondent, and Nicholas Lane, who I appreciate him calling in. We will see you guys next time. We're out of here until next Wednesday night. We will see you guys on the flip side. Peace.
What it sinks in my soul. The sky is a death. That's right in my home. The center of the rock.
Keys, Chief Cloudy, Moonshine, DS Riders.